My brother-in-law owed a huge loan shark, and my mother-in-law and her family forced me to use my dowry to pay him back. I refused, so my mother-in-law and my husband had a big fight. My husband then secretly took the money from my card. I had a big fight with my husband's family after I found out, which led to a difficult delivery. But at the critical moment, they refused to spend money to save my life, just because they found out on the spot that I was pregnant with a daughter. My mother-in-law and her family dissuaded my husband. It's useless to save a girl. The money should be kept for your brother to pay off his debt. Besides, giving birth is dangerous. She is the only one left in her family. If she dies, all the money will be yours. On the first day of the Lunar New Year, I was sadly dead on the operating table. When I opened my eyes again, I was back to 3 days before the loan shark came to my husband's house to collect the debt. When I woke up in a cold sweat, I found myself sitting on the sofa at home. My 8-month pregnant belly was bulging high. I knew that I was reborn. I looked down at my phone. There were still 3 days before my brother-in-law came to my house with usury. The ugly faces of those people in my previous life kept lingering in my mind. I forced myself to calm down. I stroked the child who was about to be born. Don't worry, daughter. This time, I won't let anyone hurt us, mother and daughter. There was a sound of closing the door at the door. Wei Chen came back. He walked over happily with a bag. It was in sharp contrast to his indifference in the previous life. My eyes turned and I pretended to put down the phone with a deep look. Sure enough, he noticed it keenly and asked quickly, "What's wrong? Why are you unhappy?" Something happened at the company. There was a problem with the funding of a project. As a legal person, I may have to bear the corresponding responsibility. Wei Chen was shocked and sat next to me. I told him that as long as the funding gap could be made up, it should be fine. But all my money was used for advance payment, and there was no spare money at all. Wei Chen was silent. He tightened his jaw and looked serious. Then he promised me that he would find a way for me. I pretended to be touched, but I felt sad. If I hadn't seen his true face in the last life, I would have been fooled by his hypocritical face. That night, Wei Chen and I went to my husband's house. As soon as we entered the door, my mother-in-law's happy expression instantly dropped. She said sarcastically, "It has been said that women are unreliable in doing business. Now it's good, and the whole family is implicated." I lowered my head and pulled Wei Chen embarrassedly. He was about to speak for me, but was retorted by my brother-in-law. "Brother, we all know about my sister-in-law's affairs. What are you going to do with such a large sum of money? Don't borrow money from me. I have no money. I haven't married yet." Wei Chen looked at me in embarrassment. I whispered, "But if I can't make up the funds, I might be arrested. I'm pregnant with Wei Chen's child." My mother-in-law interrupted me directly. "We don't know the gender of the baby in your belly yet. Don't talk about the baby first, Song Jiao. After knowing your situation, our family discussed it. Our Wei family is just an ordinary family. We can't afford such a big thing as yours, so we can't help you. You can solve it yourself." In the last life, my mother-in-law threatened to die and asked me to pay off my brother-in-law's debt. She also said that if something happened to me, they would definitely do their best to help me. But at this time, those words were just a means to deceive me. Fortunately, I am no longer that naive fool. Wei Chen is my husband. If something happens to me, he will also be affected. I pretended to be anxious, and it turned out to be more impatient. The mother-in-law slammed the table and widened her eyes. "Do you have a conscience? That's your husband. Can you still implicate him? But I can't help it. If you can help me, then divorce." The father-in-law, who had been silent all the time, finally spoke. I curled the corners of my lips vaguely. "I've been waiting for you to say this. Divorce." I was amazed and looked at Wei Chen with grievance. Sure enough, his eyes were full of meaning, as if he had heard his father's words. "Wei Chen and I have a good relationship. I'm still pregnant with his child. How can we divorce?" I grabbed Wei Chen's arm for help. His embarrassed eyes trembled slightly. "Song Jiao, it's not that we are cruel. We really can't help you. Wei Chen can't really be implicated by you. He has worked hard for several years to gain a foothold in the unit. If you are convicted, his future will be over." The mother-in-law's words touched Wei Chen's heart. Because he really paid a lot for his current job, It is very difficult for civil servants to be promoted. He almost exhausted his efforts to get a chance. I saw that Wei Chen's attitude was almost persuaded. I squeezed out a few tears. Husband, do you think so too? Wei Chen pursed his lips and was pulled aside by his mother-in-law just as he was about to speak. Don't be silly. I have said that women who are too troublesome are a burden. If you don't divorce, if she goes to jail, won't all the debts be yours? But she is still pregnant. You don't even know if it's a boy or a girl. If it's a boy, it's fine. If it's a girl, our family will lose a lot. You are young and handsome, and you have a good job. You can find any woman. Why do you want to hang yourself on a jinx like her? They thought they were discussing in a low voice, but they didn't know that I had heard it clearly. Wei Chen thought for a long time, and walked to me with a sullen face. Zhao, let's go to the hospital to check the gender of the child. If it's a boy, his parents will definitely be willing to help. What do you think? I pretended to be stunned. My brother-in-law immediately spoke again. I didn't say I was willing. If my sister-in-law can't give birth to a son, our family can still count on me. If it doesn't work, it's easy for my brother to change someone who can give birth to a son. I know why Wei Chen hesitated. He doesn't really love me and the baby in my belly. He thinks that if I get through the difficulties, he will also have half of my company's future profits. Over the years, he and his family have already benefited a lot from my company. He is an extremely selfish person. Of course I know that the baby in my belly is a girl. As long as this matter is confirmed, I guess the Wei family will just sweep me out like garbage. Wei Chen, if it's a girl, will you really divorce me when disaster strikes? Everyone flees. Song Zhao, you've been neglected since childhood. You should understand. The next day, we met at the Women and Children's Hospital. Originally, the doctors in the hospital would never tell the gender of the fetus at any time, but this time, the Wei family specially found a distant relative who was a doctor. It's a girl, but you are so young, you can have a second or third child. Don't worry. As soon as the doctor finished speaking, Wei Chen breathed a sigh of relief. Coming out of the clinic, Wei Chen's attitude towards me changed dramatically. In the past, he would always help me walk, for fear that I would bump into something. But this time, he walked in front of me with a haughty attitude. He leaned down and whispered something in his mother's ear. His mother was so happy that her mouth was almost grinning. She looked me up and down and snorted coldly. From the day I met you, I felt that you were unlucky. As expected, you are a jinx. You killed your own parents, and now you want to kill our family. Hurry up and divorce my son to prevent our family from being stained with bad luck. Although I know that Wei Chen's mother can't say anything good, but the sentence of killing parents still made me feel distressed. Although I have let go of my parents' death, from the perspective of outsiders, they died in a car accident. It was all because I insisted on going to the amusement park. The Wei family's parents always talked about this matter. I have always felt guilty, so I tolerated Wei Chen's parents as much as I could. The result was that they became more and more demanding. Mom, don't call me Mom, I'm not your mom. Wei's mother looked extremely disgusted, and asked everyone passing by in the hospital to judge. She made a big fuss that I owed so much money and was going to jail, but she refused to divorce her son, delaying the future of their family. I acted with her and sobbed in public. There were many people with positive values, and everyone advised me to leave such a family as soon as possible. But a passerby said what I wanted to say. If this is a divorce, everything must be settled. How to raise the child, how to pay child support, how to divide the common property of the couple. Don't divorce and still be involved. Wei's mother's face was a little complicated when she heard this. She thought for a long time and finally came up with a good idea that she thought was wonderful. So on the day of determining the gender of the child, she called all the relatives who could be called in the family. She also asked Wei Chen to find a professional lawyer to take charge. In this way, I was alone with a big belly, facing a group of them. Song Zhao, let's make it clear first. We are not bullying you. Today we just want to talk things out. The attitude of the Wei family was very clear. After Wei Chen and I divorced, the company's debt had nothing to do with him. As for the child, the Wei family doesn't want it either, so they won't pay any child support. Of course, if I want to change my last name, they don't have any objection. In short, This child and I have nothing to do with the Wei family. You guys are like this. You really don't care about anything. It's not that we don't care, but you've gone too far. You can't rest even when you're pregnant, and you've made such a big mess with that company. Who can control you? Who dares to control you? The brother-in-law pretended to answer, that's right, if I owed so much money, I would definitely not ask my family for help. It's hard for our parents to raise us. How can we let them help pay off the debt? It's simply unfilial. Our sister-in-law has no parents since she was a child, so she doesn't know the hardship of her parents' upbringing. Right, Wei Chen glanced at the brother-in-law and forced him to shut up. I looked at the family who looked righteous. I took the agreement that the lawyer brought to me in my hand. After signing this, my life and the child's life can be saved. On the third day, at the Civil Affairs Bureau, when I arrived, Wei Chen was already waiting. I came with Wei Chen's mother. The procedure went very quickly, and when signing, Wei Chen did not hesitate at all. Just like in the last life, he chose not to save me. Without hesitation, I was just listening to the nurses' complaints in a daze. They said that human life was at stake, but my family chose to escape and did not even sign. At that moment, I did not even have the strength to sign for myself. When I walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, there was a strange woman standing next to Wei's mother. Her belly was slightly bulging, and she should have been pregnant for 4 or 5 months. Wei Chen frowned slightly. Why did you bring her here? What's wrong with bringing her here? You and Song Jiao are divorced, and she can be your legitimate wife in the future. Wei's mother's words struck me like thunder, and I could not move. I looked at Wei Chen and instantly understood something that I had never known in my last life. Wei Chen, so you have already planned it, right? Divorce me and let your mistress take over. Why could they give up me and the child so easily in the last life? Why does Wei Chen always have insufficient money to spend? Why can his parents be so sarcastic to me casually? It turns out that they knew Wei Chen had an affair a long time ago. They even helped to conceal it. I stood outside the Civil Affairs Bureau with a big belly and almost fainted. It took all my strength to calm down. Great, what a united family. Watch your mouth. Xiao Minute is not a mistress now, and besides, the child in her belly is the eldest grandson of our Wei family. You have no right to say anything about her, the eldest grandson. So she is pregnant with a boy. At this moment, I am extremely grateful that I can be reborn this time. Song Jiao, don't blame me for being cruel. The responsibility of my family is on my shoulders. I have to plan the road ahead, looking at Wei Chen's familiar yet unfamiliar look. I curled the corners of my lips sarcastically. Fortunately, today the debt of my brother-in-law will be exposed. Today those loan sharks will knock on the door of Wei Chen's house. The amount of money is high enough for them to sell everything they have. Without me, they can only wait to sleep on the street. This third party who succeeded in getting the upper hand is just a cannon fodder who suffers with them. Thinking of this, I feel very happy. When I turned to leave, I heard Wei's mother flattering behind me. Xiao Minute, this time our family can be together well. Whatever delicious food you want to eat, Mom will make it for you. You are pregnant with Mom's precious grandson, so you must take good care of him. I sneered and stroked my belly. Baby, when you are born, I will give you the best. To avoid being discovered by them, I deliberately did not call a car to pick me up, but just walked away in front of them. But after a few steps, I heard Wei's mother holding a mobile phone and screaming sharply, "What nonsense are you talking about? What usury? How could anyone in the family borrow usury? Tell them not to move, we'll go back immediately." Wei's mother anxiously grabbed Wei Chen's hand. "Your father said that a group of usurers came to the house, and they beat your brother and smashed everything they saw. Let's go back quickly." Wei Chen comforted Wei's mother, and the three of them hurriedly took a taxi and left. Before getting in the car, he looked back at me meaningfully. When Wei Chen's call came, I had just returned home to rest. The background sound on the phone was noisy, as if Wei's mother was crying. "Song Jiao, can you go home? I have something to talk to you about." "What home? I'm already at home." Wei Chen on the other end was silent for a moment, and said in a calm tone, "Your father's relics are still with me. Aren't you coming to get them?" My heart tightened. I actually forgot about this matter. The night before I married Wei Chen, I gave him an antique jade pendant left by my father, although that thing can't fill all his brother's debts, but if it's sold, it can still be exchanged for a lot of money. The most important thing is that I want to take it back. When I arrived at the Wei family, the whole Wei family was in chaos, just like in the previous life. The door of the Wei family was splashed with red paint, and the corridor was written with "Pay back the money." As soon as I entered the door, Wei's mother was sitting in a mess crying, "What a sin I have committed. I don't need to live, our whole family will die." The younger brother-in-law was curled up in the corner of the sofa and dared not speak, and Wei Chen was sitting on a chair waiting for me. Song Jiao, Wei Song owes a lot of high-interest loans. So much that he can't pay it back even if he sells us. That's a pity. Where are my father's things? Wei Chen talked for a breath. He took out his father's jade pendant from his pocket. "You said this thing is worth a lot of money, so I plan to sell it and pay off the debt, unless you help our family this time." I stood at the door and sneered. I just felt that he was so shameless. How could he say such a thing? "Wei Chen, have you forgotten that we have no relationship anymore? You signed the agreement. My business has nothing to do with you, and your business has nothing to do with me. Then don't you want your father's jade pendant?" I sneered. "Go and sell it, and I'll buy it back when the time comes. After all, this project is over, and the company has made a lot of money." My words stunned everyone in the Wei family. They slowly stood up, gathered together, and stared at me. "What do you mean by this? The project is over. Isn't your project useless?" I took 2 steps back and walked out of the dilapidated house of the Wei family. Some projects succeed and some fail. At first I thought they were useless, but I didn't expect that after divorcing you, they succeeded again. Do you think your Wei family was unlucky for me before? Divorce after I fire you guys. My company will be fine. That's perfect. You use the money to pay off Wei Song's debts. Wei's mother instantly became energetic. She seemed to see some hope. She looked like she wanted to eat me alive. "Impossible. That's your brother-in-law. He has the same blood as Wei Chen. Why don't you help him? He doesn't have the same blood as me. Why should I help him?" Wei's mother was stunned, and then she pinched her sharp voice. "The one in your belly is my family's blood. Why do you say? That's my Wei family's child. You have to take care of it." Wei's mother rushed towards me with her teeth and claws. But she was stopped by my bodyguard who had been standing outside the door and pushed away. Wei Chen caught Wei's mother steadily and looked at me with a questioning look. Before he could speak, I signaled the bodyguard to protect me. "The child will naturally take my surname when he is born and will be registered in my household registration. You signed the agreement. I and the child have nothing to do with you. Have you forgotten? The Wei family is so mad. How could I come here alone without someone?" Wei Chen frowned. "Song Jiao, did you know this a long time ago, so you lied that the company was in trouble and deliberately let me divorce you?" I smiled innocently. "How could it be? I just saw the indifference of your family a long time ago. In order to understand this, I paid a huge price. You are so scheming. I am really worried about your affairs. You are like this, and you still want the jade pendant. I will not give it to you even if I smash it." Wei Chen turned the tables and raised his hand to smash his father's jade pendant to the ground. I was nervous at first, but the bodyguard in front of me moved quickly. He rushed over in 2 steps and caught the jade pendant before it fell to the ground. Wei Chen didn't expect the bodyguard to do this. The jade pendant was in my hand in a blink of an eye, and he was furious. I put my father's jade pendant away and curled my lips sarcastically. "Now your family doesn't even have money to sell the jade pendant. Wei Chen, take care of yourself." My father's belongings returned to me. I no longer have any attachment to this place. When I walked out of the corridor, I could still hear the abuse from Wei's mother. "What kind of heartless person, ungrateful person." And even little bitch blurted out, "But I don't care, my child and I will have the best days in the future." I thought that my involvement with the Wei family would end here. But I didn't expect that Wei's mother would go straight to the community where I live. She brought a banner written in red paint as a blood letter. She hung the banner in the garden of my community. She also took a loudspeaker and sat on the ground and shouted, "Song Jiao is my eldest daughter-in-law. Our family treats her with all our heart. But in the end, she is heartless and doesn't treat us as family at all. She is selfish and afraid of the money we want. She even lied that she was bankrupt and wanted to divorce my son. She also didn't let us recognize the child and said that she would have nothing to do with our family in the future. God knows, that's my granddaughter. If you don't let me recognize her and don't let me see her, isn't it like digging my heart with a knife? I came here to ask her why she treated our family like this. We are really sad. Mother Wei's words were not like her usual style. It is probably the lines written by Wei Chen for her. She used a loudspeaker to throw dirty water on me in the community. A few days later, people started to smash my windows with stones. What's worse, they threw garbage at my door, but I never went out to argue with her. I watched her acting quietly, and when I couldn't stand it, I hid in another house, until she was tired of acting and the residents in the community were tired of listening. I still didn't react. She knocked on my door in a rage, making the neighbors curse at her. She cried in the community and was finally run away by the bodyguard. In fact, I still know this former mother-in-law. If I don't pay attention to her, she will definitely make things bigger and bigger. It makes everyone unable to get downstage. And I just want to make the matter so big that everyone knows about it. Only then will the Wei family really disappear from my life. My cold treatment made the Wei family furious, so Wei's mother went to my company to make trouble again. But unfortunately, the employees of my company are all my old employees for many years. They have no doubt about my character. So when Wei's mother sat in the company lobby and acted like a rogue, they could ask the security guards to ask her out. Half a month passed, and I never showed up, nor did I make any response. But I learned that the Wei family was hiding from the loan sharks everywhere. The whole family was about to go homeless. I thought this matter could end here, but one day the secretary sent me a message. Sister Zhao, look at the TV. The Wei family is on TV, in front of the camera. Wei's mother cried with tears all over her face. Wei Chen was even more sad, crying in front of the camera. I know Zhao has been angry with me, but I really can't bear to leave her. We have been together since we graduated from college. She worked hard to start her own business, and I made soup for her to nourish her body. Later, we worked hard together to buy a house and a car. I really can't leave her, and even more so our child. Our child will be born in more than a month. I used to look forward to the arrival of this child. Zhao, I love our family. Please don't leave me. Okay, the host was moved to tears by Wei Chen's words. Some of the audience even had tears in their eyes. The host said that he hoped that Ms. Song Zhao would understand the painstaking efforts of a father after watching the program. She could come and reunite with her family, so that the child would not be without a father and separated from her flesh and blood. The program was broadcast live on TV and the internet. The comments were flying all over the sky. This Song Zhao is too cruel, as long as it is not a matter of principle. The father should be allowed to see the child. I feel that this mother-in-law is pretty good. She also knows what her daughter-in-law likes to eat and what she likes to wear. If my mother-in-law is so considerate, I would be so happy. Is Song Zhao someone else outside? Maybe she has already found a stepfather for the child. If there is a stepmother, there must be a stepfather. Sure enough, the most pitiful one is the child, even if he makes mistakes. It is better to have a biological father. The night the show ended, Wei Chen sent me a message. Song Zhao, as long as you help us solve the usury, I will help you clarify and will not bother you again. I stared at this message for a long time. What Wei Chen said on the show was actually true. Because I have no parents since I was a child, I live a particularly hard life. I never trust or rely on others. When I went to college, I made money to support myself. The first love after graduating from college was with Wei Chen. He understands my hardness and my aggressiveness. He can dig out the softest part of my heart. He also pretends to let his parents treat me as well as their own daughter. My desire for home and family made me fall madly into his swamp. Until after the marriage, when their whole family changed their attitude, I still didn't react to what was going on. I even reflected late at night, whether I was not good enough. And I was not good enough to them. Later, I finally woke up after I died. I didn't reply to Wei Chen's message. Instead, I quietly accumulated everything. The Wei family's program has been on the hot list. They have been on 2 episodes in a row. The last time, There was a lot of criticism against me online. The host said that he hoped I could appear on the last show, let this poor grandparents and father get what they want. My belly was terribly big, it looked like I was about to give birth. But I went to the last show. Jiao, you are here. I know you won't be so cruel. Wei Chen ran over to support me. Just like when I was pregnant, I walked in front of the camera with him. In front of the whole audience, I raised my hand and slapped him. Song Jiao, why did you hit my son? Wei's mother was anxious and wanted to fight back but was stopped by Wei Chen. I looked at them coldly. You forced me to this point. Aren't you afraid of a dead end? I just want to stay by your side. Protect you, and protect our unborn child, Wei Chen. Since you don't want to live a good life, I don't have to save your face. I looked at the host and handed the things in my hand to her. This is why I want to leave Wei Chen. Please help me put it down. The host took the things, it was connected to the big screen, and the picture flashed twice. The figures of Wei's mother and Wei Chen appeared on the screen. She is carrying a daughter in her belly, she is a waste. And she can't even give birth to a son. Son, you did a property notarization before marriage. Do you have to wait until she dies before you can get her property? I tell you, son, it's not a trivial matter for a woman to give birth, it's easy to lose her life. You know, the scene changed. And we were in front of the Civil Affairs Bureau again. Wei's mother held Xiao Minute in her arms and said to me arrogantly, the baby in Xiao Min's belly is my son's, and it's the eldest grandson. Our Wei family will never want a jinx like you. I have exposed many videos and audios. From the moment I was reborn, every move of the Wei family and I was under my surveillance. The true faces of Wei's mother and Wei Chen were exposed to the public. They were anxious to ask the host to turn off the video, but the host nodded to me and turned a deaf ear to their request. Wei Chen played well in this game, but it was too stupid for him to treat everyone as fools, especially women. Who are the best at helping women? My God, what a reversal. This family wants to eat their daughter-in-law and wipe out the family. What era is this? And there are still such son-centric parents. Not only that, he even said bad things about his daughter in front of his daughter-in-law, and even brought his mistress to show off. If I were Song Jiao, I would probably kill someone. The netizens on the barrage went crazy a few days ago. Everyone felt sorry for Wei Chen's sincerity towards his children. Now I find that this is not the case, and I am completely disappointed in them. But this is not enough. I motioned to the host to continue, and she nodded slightly. There is actually another person today who is closely related to the Wei family. The curtain on the stage slowly opened. Xiao Min's thin figure was revealed. Although she was extremely thin, everyone still recognized that she was the third party in the video. But her pregnant belly was gone. The appearance of Xiao Minute made Wei Chen's eyes widen in surprise. When I saw him like this, I just felt that human hearts were so terrible. It was really terrifying. Xiao Minute was actually the niece of Wei's mother's hometown. She took Xiao Minute out from her hometown just to continue the Wei family's lineage. Originally, it was prepared for Wei Song. But Xiao Minute fell in love with Wei Chen, so she had a child. Until we fell out, Wei Chen found out that I was still a rich woman. In order to keep me, he asked Wei's mother to secretly put drugs in Xiao Min's food. Xiao Min's child was gone, and they were ruthlessly sent back to her hometown. When I sent someone to pick her up, she collapsed and was about to commit suicide. This family is worse than beasts. They found out that Song Jiao was not bankrupt. So they deliberately aborted my child for her property to take credit. I never knew that people could be so cruel. I dream of my child crying every day. My life has been ruined by them. Xiao Minute was full of resentment. The moment she saw Wei Chen, she wanted to eat his flesh and drink his blood. Wei Chen's eyes were fixed on me. Song Jiao, you have been on guard against me. I have been so good to you, but you have been on guard against me. He rushed towards me. He was stopped by the security guard in time. Wei's mother quickly denied and explained in front of the camera. She said that those things were all slandered by me, and I deliberately framed them. But the audience and netizens are not fools. Everyone knows who is good and who is bad. At the end of the show, Wei Chen and Wei's mother were forced to leave by the security guard. The host comforted Xiao Minute who was crying, and I walked over and patted Xiao Minute on the shoulder. It's not your fault that you met the wrong person. Fortunately, you are still alive and not killed by them. If you want, I can take you to the city and find you a job in my company. Stay away from those people and those places, and your future life will be fruitful." Xiao Minute almost knelt down in front of me with tears in her eyes. She said sorry to me. I shook my head and didn't want to blame her. How old is she this year? Only 20 years old. If you want to blame the Wei family and Wei Chen, and never blame her. This show with a huge reversal is finally over. Many people left me messages online, saying that I set a new benchmark for women. Many girls also said that they admired me and wanted to work in my company. In the end, the friendship between women is more touching than anything else. So far, my relationship with the Wei family has been completely severed. In fact, Wei Chen has been terrified since he found out that my company has no after the incident. He immediately went to the Civil Affairs Bureau to cancel the divorce, but I thought before him, a group of people had been arranged to guard the door of the Civil Affairs Bureau. As long as they saw him coming, they would drive him away violently. He was angry, but he couldn't beat those strong men. He could only think of other ways. I came out of the TV station and looked up at the sky. I felt that there were no clouds in the sky and I felt refreshed. There were a lot of reporters guarding the door of the TV station. They had already surrounded Wei Chen and Wei's mother. I got in the nanny car and left quietly, but I didn't notice that a sinister look was following me. The baby will be born in half a month. She is a sensible baby. I have been busy with the Wei family's affairs for so long. She didn't rush out to interrupt my plan. So I stayed in the hospital for the remaining half a month to wait for the birth. Xiao Minute accompanied me and said that she would be my personal nanny and serve me for the rest of my life. Although I thought she was exaggerating, there was really no one around to take care of her, so I kept her. After the confrontation on the show, the Wei family disappeared. The house was empty and was taken over by loan sharks. I heard that they didn't return to their hometown. The family of 3 completely disappeared. Wei Song owed so much high-interest loans that he would not be let off easily, but I no longer had time to think about that, because my baby was about to be born. It hurt for several hours. I finally welcomed the daughter I had never met in my previous life. She was fair and tender, and extremely cute. Xiao Minute went to see her carefully every day and loved her very much. She lost her child and it would be difficult for her to get pregnant again. So she always felt distressed when she saw the child. After staying in the hospital for a few days, we had to transfer to a confinement center. But Xiao Minute came in from outside in a hurry. "Sister Zhao, something happened. The baby is gone." Xiao Minute was so anxious that she was circling in the room. She said she went to pick up the baby in advance, but when she got there, she found that my baby was not among the many children in public. She asked the nurse to see. But the nurse didn't know what was going on, so she looked around and found no trace. I forced myself to calm down. The baby had just been born, and must have been taken away by someone. By whom? Who would take my child away? Wei Chen. It must be Wei Chen. I quickly asked Xiao Minute to call the police and then call Wei Chen. But in order to avoid loan sharks, they had changed their phone numbers countless times. I bit my lower lip, anxious, and didn't know what to do. An unfamiliar number called in. "Song Zhao, if you want a child, come to the rooftop by yourself." The other party's voice was hoarse and low, but it was not difficult to hear that it was Wei Chen's voice. I went to the rooftop alone for the child. Sure enough, I saw Wei Chen standing on the edge of the rooftop holding the child. The baby didn't know what happened, but she had a blood relationship with Wei Chen. She was not afraid or crying in Wei Chen's arms. "Wei Chen, give me back the child, and we can discuss everything." "Song Zhao, I'm really desperate. Why are you so cruel? I'm your husband. Why don't you help me but hurt me?" Wei Chen's beard was untidy and covered in dust. His eyes were red and bloodshot. It looked like he had suffered a lot. Song Zhao, I regret it. I shouldn't have treated you like that. It's all my mother's fault. She made me do it. I know. I approached Wei Chen step by step. "I know you didn't mean it. I know everything. Wei Chen, can you come to me with your child first?" Wei Chen was silent. "All this is because you didn't help us, and you hurt us like this in public." Wei Chen became more and more excited. holding the child. He trembled all over and got closer and closer to the rooftop. I was so anxious that I was about to cry. Aiken, I will give you whatever you want. Money. I will give it to you. Okay, come here first. I will let you live your life back to the past. Okay, I don't believe you. You lied and acted. Otherwise, why would I divorce you? If you didn't lie to me, why would I divorce you? I almost knelt in front of Wei Chen. My child is still so young and so soft. She seemed to feel Wei Chen's excitement and suddenly burst into tears. Wei Chen was annoyed by her noise, so he lowered his head and yelled at her to shut up. I cried like rain, wishing I could suffer for my child. Wei Chen was crazy. He had no feelings for his child. I didn't know what else to do. Just when I was about to despair, two figures climbed up from behind the edge of the roof. While Wei Chen was yelling at the child, they held him down. The child was immediately snatched back and put in my arms. The nerves that had been broken for a long time finally relaxed. I sat on the ground and cried loudly while holding the child. Wei Chen was taken away by the special police, and he cursed me as a bitch before leaving. This time, I sent him directly to prison and never reconciled. On the day when the baby was 1 month old, I held a grand full moon wine for her in the best hotel. I hope she grows up safely, healthily, and freely. I want her to have a rich heart and a strong body. This way she won't be fooled by anyone's sweet talk. At the same time as the full moon banquet was over, in the trash can at the back door of the hotel, the Wei family was rummaging through the garbage.